Peace and blessings, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. This is Naseed Gifted coming to you live from downtown Halsey Street. We talk about downtown realty. This is the Phocused Black in PBS Media Studios, man. We have an exciting one for you today. Man. We are glad to be back on. I wanted to just take the opportunity to thank everyone for tuning in each and every week for all of these episodes. We've had some technical issues over the last couple of times, but I believe we got it all solved. So we ready, we new, we brand new, we ready, we excited. And today we have an exciting show for you today. Today we're going to talk about Tech Disruption 2024, navigating a great reset. In a year of tech upheaval, what does the surge of layoffs mean for the industry's future? So we're going to get into a few things, but I want to kind of introduce what's been happening over the last 2 years. So the tech industry has been experiencing a wave of layoffs in the last 2 years, in 2023 and 2024, with many companies cutting jobs to restructuring, right? And because of that, in 2023, over 260,000 people were laid off by more than 1,150 tech companies in 2023, which is an increase of 15% from 2022. So there was a ton of layoffs during 2022, but in 2023, now we always talk about the tech boom and all of these things that's happening heavy within the tech industry, and it's still one of the largest growth industries. So if you're looking to transition into a particular field, it's definitely one of the areas that you will experience, job opportunities in. But because of what's been happening, we always want to keep the community abreast and everything of all of the stuff that's happening, within, this particular industry. And with all of these things, they all hit a bubble, just like the big bubble with the real estate and everything. And then once you hit the bubble, man, you have to order, the industry looks to, self-correct, right? So that's what a lot of these companies are doing. But because they are doing it in the shape and fashion that they're doing, they're affecting a whole lot of people, right? So in these companies, like I said, it was 260,000 layoffs in 2023, over 1,150 tech companies, and included within these companies in this 15% increase are Amazon, Meta, Google, and Microsoft, which are always good, when we talk about investing in stocks. And please, do your research. This is not a financial literacy or investment channel. This is the Phocused Black podcast, where we talk about Afrofuturism and tech, but we also want to talk about what is in the industry. So, and in 2024, in the first few months of 2024, 60,000 jobs were cut across 254 companies, including Amazon, Google, Tesla, and Tesla made some of the largest cuts. Snap and Microsoft once again. So in July of 2024, 34 tech companies laid off over 8,000 employees. So we're talking about 384 tech companies has laid off more than 100,000 to 124,000 employees in 2024 alone. So we want to just kind of like look at the numbers. This is like something that is, astronomical in the number of layoffs, but we want to be able to kind of tap in and understand why. A lot of this stuff has been, contributed by some factors or whatever, but I want to hit you with the numbers. So by the numbers, layoffs during, and we're talking about 2024 right now. By the end of September 27, 2024, at least 466 U.S. tech sector employees were laid off or scheduled for layoffs, as per Crunchbase news tally. So in 2024, at least 86,913 workers at U.S.-based tech companies have lost their jobs so far this year. And in 2023, We're talking about more than 100,000 and 191,000 workers in the U.S. based tech companies, or these tech companies, which is a large part of this workforce. So this has always been, like I said, this has been the largest growth industry over the next 10 to 20 years. But they're doing a lot of things as far as, what we talk about right sizing. And they're favoring profits over, innovation and tech. And when we talk about 2023, Amazon cut 16,080 roles. Alphabet, which is Google, cut 12,000 roles. Microsoft cut 11,158 roles, and Meta cut about 10,000 roles. And we talk about the factors. What's some of the factors that's contributing to these layoffs? And some of the factors that may be contributing include, overhiring during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, tech companies hired too many people, when we talk about in response to the surge, in the online activity that was going on during the pandemic, since everyone was working remote. That's why you had companies like Zoom, whose stock shot through the roof during the pandemic, and then started, leveling off now. So it was a nice investment, when the pandemic hit. But if you look at Zoom now, it kind of right sized and just kind of hit, plateaued at this point. So that is something that, that's something that's happening. But however, people who return to work in person and use technology less. So once the pandemic was over, with all of this remote access and, working from home and everything, a lot of people returned to work, but they use less technology. So the boom that was experienced during the pandemic has just, started subsiding and needed to be able to be right sized and everything. And then there was an economic downturn. So the U.S. economy, which was, unstable and and this upcoming presidential election is definitely playing a big part in adding to the uncertainty of why, there's an economic downturn. We're talking about, maybe even possible, civil war, with regards to who wins this particular election. So we're watching this all very, very closely, and you have people like Elon Musk who is, saying all types of things, with regards. Now he represents Tesla and SpaceX and everything else, but his political agenda, which, he has the right to his own opinion, I just don't favor any of the things that he's talking about right now. And I mean, with regards to that, I mean, that's what we talk about, the uncertainty. And we talk about, people who have political allegiances, with regards to this, and they feel a certain way if one candidate gets in, and they feel a certain way if another candidate gets in, and how the economy is going to be turned upside down, all out civil war, all of these different things. And then when we talk about inflation and the higher interest rates, so inflation and higher interest rates, the Federal Reserve reserves rates hiked in 2022, which has an increase in the cost of borrowing. So because, like when you're doing innovation, you need to borrow more capital in order to innovate, right? So this way you can hire more individuals. But when the interest rates go up, you're going to borrow less because those interest rates are too high for you. The cost of accessing the particular capital becomes more. So because of that, you actually have to, kind of not want to borrow as much. So now, instead of, using this capital for R&D, which is research and development, now we start, finding ways to cut the fat, or finding ways to trim fat, and most of the time, a large part of your capital within any company is within the employees, with, salaries and benefits. And salaries and benefits is the easiest way, to be able to cut, because the executives are not going to cut themselves. They're not going to cut their bonuses. They're going to cut the people that's under them in order to be able to maximize profits, because that's what this all comes down to, is maximizing profits, as well as the rise. And, and I know we talk about this week in, week out, but the rise of artificial intelligence. If you're not on it, if you ain't hip to the game, you need to be a part of this. Do not let this technology pass you by. We're not talking about Skynet. We're not talking about that. But we're talking about understanding that artificial intelligence is going to impact your everyday lives. And if you are afraid of this, and I always go into the fact that a lot of this technology can be used or seen in two ways. It can be a weapon or it can be a tool. You can weaponize it and run away and say, hey, Skynet and artificial intelligence is going to take over and do all of these, strange and weird things. Or we can embrace it and use it as a tool to help advance, your business, advance your creativity, and be able to use these, platforms. It's just like using a computer, or a calculator or any other technology to be able to aid and help and support what you are already doing and enhance your greatness. Because we want to be able to take your greatness and enhance it using these tools. But in order to do that, you have to know about this. And in this ever-changing world of AI and everything, I'm learning as much as I am. But a lot of it, comes with you just being able to access the information or access the tools and use the tools. Like, it doesn't come with instruction guides. You really just got to kind of dive in. When you're putting together presentations, when Microsoft has a part with Copilot. I know Adobe, all their products has a AI companion. All of these softwares that you're using. Google has an AI companion. Meta, Facebook has an AI companion. Like when you're coming up with your posts and everything. All of these things are definitely tools. I mean, even if you use Canva has an AI component. So from a design standpoint, from a business standpoint, you need to be able to leverage these things to be able to help you increase productivity, because that's what you want to do. You want to be organized and increase productivity. All of these, like I said, once again, is a tool, but AI is reshaping the tech landscape. So a lot of people are pulling back from a lot of their R&D projects that they were doing, research and development, and creating both opportunities and threats. So when I start coughing, I need to just pause for a second. So I'm going to just pause. And I'm going to, do our shameless plug. You are tuned into the Phocused Black podcast. Tune in each and every Thursday. My name is Naseed Gifted. My co-host, who was not able to be here tonight, is Dilettante J. Bass. I want to definitely make sure we give a shout out to the good brother who wasn't able to make it. But when we talk about this whole disruption, there's a ton of stuff that's going on. And there's a ton of people who've been impacted. I gave you the numbers. From 2023 to 2024, there was a lot of people that was impacted. And I'm going to just go back over. 260,000 in 2023, 60,000 in 2024 thus far. And more cuts are here to come. So how do we remedy this? How do we prepare ourselves for the next 5 years and everything? And a lot of it has to do with AI. The fallout of these layouts is deeply personal, and far-reaching. And behind each one of these layoffs is someone who lost their job, their opportunity to the opportunity to be able to feed their family, feed themselves and their family. So we definitely feel the impact of that, especially in the Black and brown community, where we make up less than 5% of the STEM opportunities out there. So when we talk about, these layoffs and these opportunities and the threats, that come along with this stuff, we need to understand how do we, take this information and be able to not only understand what's going on and how the industry is shaping and changing, but how do we adjust and adapt? Because we got to be able to adjust and adapt. So there's a number of tools that I've been playing with. One, of course, would be ChatGPT. That is something that I've played with for the last I'm gonna say about a year and a half now, and just found that as a valuable tool. Just when you talk about you have these brainstorms and you want to get organized and you want to just try to put things together. You can use these as tools to be able to help organize your thoughts when you have an outline, or you want to develop an outline and then build from there. The part that I do always have an issue with is when people try to use this as a way to showcase or to be able to circumvent the process. Like if you're a writer, you just use AI to write your book. If you're an artist, you use AI to create your digital artwork and everything. Circumventing that and then try to push it off as some of your originality and everything. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about using these things as tools to be able to help with productivity. You need to create an email. The points that you want to make. But instead of spending an hour, you could spend 2 minutes being able to outline it and then being able to, send it out to X number of people to be able to get the message out. Those type of things. You want to create an agenda real quick. You have all of the points. You want it to look professional and everything, but you have all the points that you want to hit in an agenda. You can use AI to be able to do that. Using it in a virtual assistant standpoint. You have some ideas about how you are looking to develop a marketing strategy around, putting out a new product or service, using it in that respect. So that is what a lot of companies are doing now. They are pulling back their resources and doing a deep dive in how they can use AI to be able to help shape their company and move it forward to the future. Now, what happens with that is, once we were talking about it earlier, we talk about right size and we talk about layoffs, we talk about, and then how that affects families, how that affects the community, you not being able to put food on the table and everything. But we have to be able to pivot. We always got to pivot. The one thing about Black people that they do really, really well is we know how to adapt and adjust. We definitely know how to do that. And once again, just to be able to reflect upon, what's going on currently in the industry, sometimes we got to pause and we got to see what's going on in order to know and be prepared for what's coming, and if you're one of those individuals that is so afraid of AI, you've been using AI each and every day when you use Siri, when you use Alexa, when you use all of these things. Now it's just more advanced in a sense. And I mean, and this technology is old technology too, so I'm not even going, but we talk about from the consumer side, because a lot of these applications have already been within the military and other industries and everything. We just getting it on the consumer side. So once, it becomes available for the common consumer, now, we'd be able to use these tools because, what they're doing in Hollywood, how YouTube, when we broadcast into is going to be upsetting the industry and allowing creators to be able to upload their content and develop, bring their followers with them. So now, these streaming services and everything like your Netflix, your Apple TV, your Amazon Prime, and any other platform that's pretty much using to create original content, YouTube is about to jump right out there and allow individuals who have their own shows, have their own content to be able to upload to their YouTube TV. That's something, that you need to know about, with regards to this content. So now when we have all of these, individuals who are content creators, that is going to be something that, you want to be able to, polish up your skills. But with all of this, you want to have some technical know-how to be able to, like I said, advance, stay abreast. If you haven't taken any courses, a lot of this stuff is available via YouTube and everything just to start doing initial research. But you need to be able to tap in. You got to be able to tap in. We as a community, we got to tap in. We can't run away from this stuff, I mean, even when you get down to self-checkout and all this other stuff, you've been using AI. Let the truth be told. You've been using AI. You just don't want to recognize it like that. You think about the scary part of AI where, you think about the Terminators and the Skynet and all of the other stuff. But AI has been around and you've been using it. Now, we got smart cars, we got smart houses, you got your you got your whole house hooked up to your phone and everything, and you can tell, various appliances to turn off, turn on, do all of these things. That's all a part of AI and everything too. Being able to use these smart devices, smart TVs, be able to talk to your remote and then go to various channels because it's computing, it's understanding what you like. When you talk to Alexa or Siri, telling them to create a playlist for you, based on your likes and interests, it's taking data. It's taking big data, compiling it based on some of your preferences, and it's interpreting a number of your preferences and creating profiles. They've been creating profiles for you for a very long time, and I tell you, a little piece of plastic card that you carry in your pocket, maybe not even carry in your pocket anymore, might just be on your phone. But all of your spending habits and all that stuff, that creates a profile. That's why you get certain ads that come to your phone, after you looking at something. You can just be talking about it and your phone is listening, and then next thing you know, you go on any of these social media platforms, you go to search something on Google or YouTube, and then next thing you know, you have an ad speaking to the same thing that you were just talking about. That is AI. That is AI. There's not someone just listening, listening to your conversation, even though, that is some factors in that, because there's key trigger words that you cannot say that will, raise red flags. So please understand, technology does do that as well. So anything that you're saying and you want to be overt or and have some privacy with that, you got to check your settings. You definitely got to check your settings, because technology is definitely something that, like, once again, a tool or a weapon. So you gotta look at all of this stuff. So there's opportunities for innovation. We need to be able to grow this industry and move it forward. So if you haven't been exposed to AI, you definitely need to, because your job, your opportunity, your business is going to be affected heavily with that. And I mean, if you look at, so I told you about how Meta and Facebook, Meta is Facebook, so I just make sure we clear with that. Google, which is Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon. Look at their stocks. I want you to go, do some homework. Look at their stocks. Look at their profit margin. They're doing these cuts to make sure that they keep the stockholders happy, keep the executives with their bonuses, but making sure that profit stays up. So that's the right size, and that's been going on. But we understand that wave is affecting so many others. That's affecting so many others. So you need to be able to, kind of understand that as well. It's not about you, it's about them and their profits. So just know that. So when you're looking at your favorite companies, just know that they're looking at their profit margin. They're not caring about where you fit in that whole totem pole, unless you're at the top of the totem pole, where you are a major investor, or you have a lot of equity within these particular corporations. So, definitely know that. And, once again, the one thing that I love about Black and Browns and my Black people in general is that we are resilient and we know how to adapt. And this too shall pass. So just understand that, we want to give you information for you to be able to tap in. I don't want you to tap out, but using this as a resource to be able to say, okay, my industry is changing, because all industries are changing. The way Hollywood is going to be operating, the way they're trying to put actors, they're trying to use databases to be able to create, like, say, a George Clooney and his likeness, and then be able to, have him in a database, and then be able to use AI to, like, do these, what we call deep fakes, on the internet, but actually use that to be able to create, more content saying that, he actually was a part of this particular project. Those things are going on. You have, AI doing voiceover work and stuff like that. People are using this stuff to take out individuals who would technically be the creators and innovators within particular spaces. So you got to understand that, the industry is changing. I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You have people like Tyler Perry, who was looking to expand his movie studios and build additional stages. But with AI and how that's going to affect Hollywood, with special effects, we're talking about voiceovers, we're talking about all of these different editing opportunities and stuff. The room, the need to expand is actually going out the window. And actually, most studios are actually condensing their footprint because they don't need such a large footprint to be able to do set designs and other things, with regards to that. I mean, you got AI that's taking people's styles and creating rap music, creating hip hop, Afro beats, reggaeton, all of these different things. It's all about how creative you want to be within the space. Now, I am about originality and creativity because I'm a creator myself. With our graphic novel series and everything. Jazen, which we're launching on October 24th. October 24th, we're coming with Jazen, the Rose That Grew from the Concrete, which is a phenomenal project. We actually have immersive art experience that we're going to be launching in 2025. 2025 is going to be a big, big year for PBS Media Studios. And I mean, and just to transition with that, and I want to just kind of tap in and I'm gonna pause. Thank you once again for everybody who's been tuning in. If you like what we're talking about, if you have any questions, please put those in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. This is the Future is Black podcast. Each and every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I want to kind of talk about some of the upcoming projects and that's coming up. We just came off of KHEM Fest replay, which is KAFF, KHEM Animation Film Festival replay, where we showed 14 films from people across the African diaspora. They were phenomenal projects, man. We did this in the Haynes building at Heritage Hall. So we have all of these black and brown faces all on the wall. And then we had, Breaking Boundaries, Black women in animation and gaming, a phenomenal panel. We had animation panel, we are up next, by Diverse Tunes, where individuals from Pixar and everything. And then we had all of these films, man. These films were phenomenal. And then just having the opportunity to, do this 10 years and running, it's a huge undertaking. It's a thankless opportunity, but we definitely appreciate to be able to showcase our greatness. I mean, our main mission is to be able to show that we are creators and innovators and not just be consumers in these particular markets. We talk about gaming, we talk about animation, we talk about comic book creation. That is what KHEM Fest is about. And we want to celebrate and highlight the greatness and the Black excellence within those particular spaces. So that was KHEM Fest, KAFF. That happened on September 26th. We had a whole day of events. We had a networking party that was at Just Fish. Then we had a game night at Brown Mill that was sponsored by Brown Mill. Shout out to them. Shout out to Gary from Just Fish for sponsoring the networking event, man. And we had a really, really good time, man. And I mean, that was phenomenal. And with that, we actually showed a trailer or a clip. No, we actually showed a clip from upcoming project, P.B.Soldier Blacklisted. So P.B.Soldier Blacklisted, which is going to be out very soon. We're about a week away. I know we said the fall of 2024. Well, this is still the fall. We're going to get it out before the winter, but we're going to put it in a number of festivals. So we're going to gear up for 2025. And then, like I said, we're just launching Jazen, the Rose That Grew from the Concrete. And speaking of Jazen, the Rose That Grew from the Concrete, I want you guys to look at this quick clip. this quick clip of Jazen and Rose That Grew from the Concrete, and let us know what you think. Yeah, that was Jazen and Rose That Grew from the Concrete. We're trying to find the truth behind the cure. So when a research oncologist discovers the cure for cancer, I mean, and this is definitely a topic that hits home hard for us as the creators of this particular series. Man, I lost a number of family members as well as friends to this tumultuous disease called cancer. And, being able to find a cure is something that, people are spending millions and millions of dollars. But, they're natural, I'm always into holistic healing and, eating right, exercising, diet, that also attributes to that. I mean, we have all types of, EMFs, electromagnetic waves that are, or fields that are affecting us each and every day from your cell phone. If you don't believe me, check your RF exposure written right in your cell phone where it tells you not to put it to your ear. All of these different things that is going to affect us, in the years to come. You need to be able to, one, cleanse yourself, detox from your electronics, and also just making sure that the food that you're eating is providing you with energy and balance. So you definitely want to kind of do that. But part of the story kind of gets into Jazen's journey as she does discover the cure for cancer. There's a lot of science within this whole thing because she uses music notes to be able to, hone in and provide a holistic alternative to be able to destroy cancer cells. So that is kind of touched on within the book. And then we also talk about Henrietta Lex, who Johns Hopkins University kind of bought her cells and was developing these cells to be able to test, and who's been the bedrock of, modern medicine and everything, who doesn't get any credit. They actually had, I believe it's still on HBO, but they actually had her story, on HBO and how her family wasn't compensated. So we actually, speak to that within the book and the series. But we have an exciting story that we want to expose you to. And then one of the things that we kind of reached, from the level of creativity is we embedded, poetry and spoken word within this particular story, where, you're uncovering Jazen's emotions as she goes through this whirlwind of peril, and then, find some type of hope, some type of redemption, within this journey. So we're definitely excited. That's going to be coming out October 24th, towards the end of this month. It's actually, once again, this holds dear to, the individuals that kind of put this together. So I want to give them all shout outs and love. We tapped into oncologists, we tapped into creators, former nurses, to do some of the research, to make sure that we're telling a pretty accurate story, with regards to the science or the STEM that's attached to this. So everything we want to make sure that is scientifically accurate. That's the science fiction aspect of it, but is definitely rooted in, some true stuff. So you can check the facts. You can definitely check the facts. Check our references, check our sources, do all of that stuff. But we came up with a really phenomenal story, and that was something that you wanted to be able to see within that, and just kind of understanding that we ready. we'll be at Comic-Con coming up next week. We'll be at Comic-Con next week. So based on that, we'll be at Comic-Con 8 p.m. Next week, Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to try to broadcast live. We're going to try it Wednesday and Thursday earlier. So you'll see us probably come on a little bit earlier if we're able to do it. Now, I say if we're able to do it, because part of all of this is making sure that our Wi-Fi signal, even though we have a hotspot and all this other stuff, sometimes the technology don't be teching, right? The technology don't be teching. So when the technology don't be teching, we can't get on live. So if we do that, what we will do is we will make sure that we capture, Comic-Con and its all of its greatness and broadcast it the week after, when we also will have a special guest. We'll have a special guest. I'm not even going to reveal who the special guest is at the time, but we'll have a special guest on the week of the today. Today is the 10th, so that the week of the 24th. The week of the 24th. So the week of the 24th, we'll have a special guest, and we'll be reporting about Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. So I'll just make sure we differentiate, because there is Comic-Con International in San Diego, California, and then there is New York Comic-Con that happens at the Jacob Javits Center each year, and we'll have a booth. So make sure you come see us in the Family HQ under PBS Media Studios. We'll definitely be there, letting people know, letting the world know of how great they are, but also showcasing all of the different opportunities within STEM and STEAM, because of your interest in animation, gaming, and comic book creation. So we definitely always tap into that. We'll be giving out career maps. You'll be able to write your name in Wakandan, and also we will also have, of course, Jazen, the Rose That Grew from the Concrete. So if you haven't pre-ordered, make sure you pre-order that. We'll have that available for a first reveal at New York Comic-Con, And then we're also going to be doing a book signing. Most likely it's going to be in November now, because we're going to be dropping in Jazen on the 24th. So we'll be doing it in November. We'll be setting up a couple of book signings that's going to be happening at Fortress of Solitude, at Source of Knowledge, and a couple of other venues that we're going to be doing that. So we'll look forward to that. Make sure you tap into that as well. So, I know there's questions, there's concerns. How do you feel about this tech industry, and the number of layoffs and everything, with the surge of layoffs, what do you feel that it means to the industry's future? How do we prepare? How do we adapt and adjust, to all of this? That is something that, we always want to just stay, we want to stay abreast. We want to stay in the know and understand that this thing is coming. This thing is definitely coming. And you need to know how AI is going to affect your industry. When we talk about AI automation, you got Tesla, who is coming up with self-driving cars. They have a self-driving platform within there, but self-driving cars that's going to be, doing deliveries, doing taxiing, all of these different things. They have, self-driving cars that are doing, transportation. So now the trucking business and stuff like that is going to be affected. All of these different things, but one of the things with technology, especially in the beginning, it usually takes more effort and time in order to achieve a task that a human would do, they act, I've heard, and I've seen some articles and some clips and reels of like a whole automated McDonald's and everything that they're trying out, just trying to take away those jobs and opportunities for people, like you can't even manage it, like it's all automated, you order your sandwich. Now you can't even curse nobody out or any of those things, because, it's going to be a computer, and the computer is going to say, hey, you ordered a cheeseburger with onions and ketchup, and you didn't want cheese on it, or whatever the case may be, and that's what they're going to give you. And you ain't going to have nobody to blame but yourself, because that's how you put the order in. That's the world that we're living in right now. I remember I was in New York, and I saw a little robotic delivery truck. It's probably about 2 feet high, driving down the street and everything. I'm assuming it's remote control, but then these are going to be autonomous and everything. And then I and I don't want to jump subjects, but like I just saw Transformers 1 with my daughter, and when we talk about autonomous robots, right? So robots that think, that's what artificial intelligence is, and to be able to infuse that into daily mundane tasks. So stuff that you don't really want to do, we'll have robots doing that, right? But at what cost? It's the same at what cost that you use when you go to the supermarket and you use the self-checkout. Those taking away opportunities for any individuals, to be able to, when I grew up, I used to make a little extra money at Key Food because I was a bagger. Now it didn't have an hourly wage. I used to make money off of tips. So we used to go up there after school or on the weekends and everything and bag, groceries. Now, they take away the bagger, they take away the cashier, they take away all of these things. So these are all opportunities that are, missing for individuals, and that's because of automation, AI, and everything. But when this stuff goes down, who's going to repair it? We need more technicians. You need to be able to understand this technology so you could be able to, have opportunities to have the AI repair service, to be mechanics, to be techs and everything else. Who's doing the programming? Because it's mechanical, it does have failure points. Would if somebody drop it or slam it or whatever the case may be? We need individuals to be able to fix and repair these type of stuff. So those are just different ways to be able to adapt and adjust. But let me know what you think. I've been talking about this for a minute, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear from everyone with regards to how this industry is going to be affected. And we talk about this tech disruption. We actually in the fourth quarter because we're in October. So that means that we may be subsiding, but with the new year, because stuff picks up in the during the holiday season. So they definitely going to be some hires, not in tech as much, but definitely when you talk about the retail industry and everything. But then after that, as when the shopping season is done, then stuff goes back down. Same thing with Amazon and all the rest of these. It's going to be it's going to go up. And then after the new year hits, stuff is going to go back down. So you're going to right size. So make sure you adjusting according to that, and just be prepared for these up and downs. If you follow the stock market, you're going to see it constantly going up, down, up, down, up, down. Over a 5-year period is still increasing at least 10%. On your dollar. So, it's always still a good investment when you invest in, Standard & Poor's, and everything else that's in the NASDAQ and all that stuff. But, do your research, check in, don't tap out. Oh, and I wanted to show a clip, wasn't able to, but here in Newark, New Jersey, we actually have the Newark Arts Festival that's happening. They just had their pink ball yesterday. And then the rest of this weekend is going to be a number of activations. So shout out to Newark Arts Festival. Shout out to Newark Arts Festival. If you're in Newark, New Jersey or near Newark, New Jersey, make sure you tap into some of the art. I just came from an event right before we came here to do the podcast. They actually had on Bleecker Street with in collaboration with North Downtown District, NDD. They had a night art market where you had a number of individuals showcasing their art, doing poetry, doing hip hop, and a number of other things, just kind of showcasing the greatness that we have, and the richness and culture that we have here in the city of Newark, New Jersey. But there is going to be a number of activations that's happening throughout, from theater to theater performances, visual art, digital art, all of these different things are happening during this New York Art Festival. So, definitely if you're looking for something to do this weekend, definitely tap into that. Definitely tap into that. If you're at New York Comic Con, make sure you see us at Family HQ. Look for us at Family HQ. We are looking to go live. We just got to make sure we can get through the firewalls and make sure that our Wi-Fi signal is strong enough to be able to broadcast. If not, once again, we'll just make sure that we record a number of the segments that's going on. We're actually not even on any of the panels or anything. This is like one of the first years out of all of the years that we've been going to New York Comic Con that we're not doing not one panel. They changed the criteria. A lot of the stuff around Afrofuturism and tech and that's falling to the wayside. So we need you, who's looking for this type of stuff, to make sure that you tell a friend, make sure that you request it, because if you don't say anything, then they will keep going on with the programming that they've been going on with for the last couple of years. And a lot of the industry, industry stuff and stuff, with Black creators and everything, that is falling to the wayside. So, I'm just looking at the trend and, once again, you got to adjust and adapt. So, we're in the building. We're not on the platform, on the stage. Like last year, I did How Spider-Man Taught Me My First Physics Lesson. And at San Diego Comic Con, we did that and we did part 2 of it. So, just kind of letting, just being able to, kind of share, these various platforms. One of the things that this platform allows us to do is be able to communicate. And we're going to be doing some workshop series and everything around Afrofuturism, around character creation, around animation and game design. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Definitely stay tuned for that. Oh, and then Queen City. Next week is also Queen City Film Festival, Queen City Film Festival in Plainfield, New Jersey. We actually have a segment on next Sunday as far as KHEM Fest. KHEM Fest, the best of KFF, as well as Channel 97. Shout out to Shakira, who made all of that happen. And, with that, we are great. We're good. We thank you all for tuning in. We see that we don't see a lot of information in the comments, but if you do have questions, concerns, or anything with regards to like the industry, where you see what you forecast for 2025, we want to hear what you and if there's any topic that you want us to kind of tap into. We're not an entertainment platform, even though we are entertaining. What we call edutainment. We definitely do that. But, we want to inform the people, we want to inform the community about all of the greatness that's going on, but also how you can be informed because, I think of all of these things, growing up as a kid, I didn't grow up next to an engineer. I didn't grow up next to a game designer or an animator or anything like that. I found these individuals, and then because I found individuals that look like me, I wanted to go into these particular industries, particularly engineering. I worked alongside an individual at Bell Laboratories. It was the first engineer that I met, and it was the first Black engineer that I met, and that was a part of my story. And with that set a young kid from Newark, New Jersey on fire, and the rest is history. I pursued a degree in electrical engineering. I worked as a supervising engineer for a number of years before I transitioned into education and did all of these different things, with regards to writing a graphic novel series, creating our own animation, we created a festival that highlights Black excellence in animation, gaming, and comic book creation. So we've been doing this for the last, what's this, 2024? The last 12 years is based on when we first started. But the journey really started, back where the seeds were planted when we were watching Saturday morning cartoons, right? Watching Saturday morning cartoons and saw that there was a lack of characters that looked like us and wanted to do something to change that paradigm. And that's why we talk about the future is Black. And We want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Futures Black podcast. Tune in next week. We'll make sure that we post something just to let you know if we're able to, broadcast live. But look forward to us broadcasting live from New York Comic Con next week. And with that, we're going to close out. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you got questions, concerns, please put that in the comments. Make sure you do a few things for us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend about the Futures Black podcast. We thank you guys for all tuning in. I want to end off with Jazen, the longer version of her story, because this is something that, like I said, sits close to the heart. And, we just want to, showcase this project and highlight this project along with a number of other things that we're doing. So tune into this and let us know what you think.
My name is Jazen Scott, and I'm a research oncologist. I've dedicated my life to finding a cure for cancer, and my team and I have made a breakthrough. But before we could bring the cure to the public, tragedy struck.
Watch you take my blood from me. Y'all beat my bro illegally. In front of his home, his mama's. Yeah.
There was a shootout, and an anti-terrorism squad trooper lost their life. I was close to death when they brought me in for questioning. I was accused of being involved. They wanted information about the shootout, but what they didn't realize was that the cure for cancer costs more than you could imagine. We discovered that the cure was expensive to make, and big pharmaceutical companies would try to charge outrageous prices for it. We wanted to get the cure to the people who needed it, without them having to choose between their lives and finances.
You killed our brother, didn't you?
This Kickstarter campaign is more than just to raise funds for the graphic novel. It's to build an Afrofuturism experience that includes poems that infuse the story with raw emotion, grappling with the bigger picture of social justice, and pushing us to imagine a more equitable future. Thank you for helping to make this dream a reality.
Be a part of the journey and help bring Jazen's story to life in the graphic novel, Jazen, The Rose That Grew from the Concrete, Part 1.
I remember I was starving, don't know how to let go, but I let go.
Yeah, so that was Jazen, the Rose That Grew from the Concrete. That is one of our projects that we're coming out with that you saw a little earlier. But yo, did you see that intro? That intro was whoo, that thing is fire. That PBS Media intro, man, that is something that we are adding to all of our projects, man. So, I mean, we're super excited about all of this stuff. And once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. This is the Futures Black Podcast, each and every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you like, you don't like. We just need your feedback. And I'm glad that, people stayed on this long, and we're ready and we're willing, and we're going to have an exciting week next week in New York Comic Con. So if you are not in, make sure you tap in, don't tap out. We're looking forward to, the journey of this endeavor that we stepped upon, that we're walking upon. And now I'm ready to, kind of do this. I am elated that there's a whole team of individuals that I work alongside to make this thing work. And with that, we're going to close out. So I thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Keep tuning in. Tell a friend. And with that, we close now. Thank you. And we're closing out. Peace.